Kicking off the main card, lightweights Mike Davis and Fair Ziam go head-to-head in a technical 155-pound bout. Chris Tognoni is in charge. After a glove touch, Davis starts aggressively, landing a body kick followed by a left hook. He shoots for a takedown but ends up pulling guard. Scrambling back to his feet, Davis presses Ziam against the cage, only for them to separate. The Frenchman lands a crisp two-punch combo and forces Davis backward with a jab. Ziam stays composed, ripping a left hook to the body and tagging Davis with a right over the top. The American struggles to find his rhythm, getting stuck behind Ziam's jab. Late in the round, Davis secures a takedown, moves to full mount, and lands a solid elbow before the bell. The second round begins with Ziam peppering Davis with jabs. Davis responds with a burst of power punches, landing a left hook that forces Ziam into the clinch. The Frenchman controls the tie-up, landing a sneaky knee that opens a cut on Davis's forehead. Blood trickles down, and Ziam capitalizes, securing a takedown in the center of the octagon. Davis threatens a heel hook, but uses it to reverse position and scramble into an arm triangle attempt. However, Ziam defends well and stands back up. In the closing moments, Ziam sprawls on a Davis takedown attempt and flirts with an anaconda choke before hammering away with ground and pound. In the final round, Davis charges forward with an overhand right, but Ziam circles away and times a double leg takedown. He hovers above Davis, landing short strikes before moving to north-south control. As Davis struggles, Ziam punishes him with elbows and punches, maintaining top control. Davis finds an opening to stand, but Ziam secures another takedown, keeping him grounded. In the dying seconds, Davis throws a desperate elbow from his back, opening a cut above Ziam's left eye. However, it's too little, too late, as Ziam earns a clean sweep on the scorecards. The action moves to the 135-pound division as Saeed Nurmagomedov squares off against Vinicius Oliveira. Kerry Hatley officiates. Nurmagomedov starts light on his feet, mixing kicks to keep Oliveira guessing. A spinning back kick to the body drops Oliveira momentarily, but he quickly recovers. Nurmagomedov continues attacking the legs, but Oliveira powers through and clinches. A brief pause occurs due to an inadvertent eye poke. Once restarted, Nurmagomedov lands a slapping head kick, but Oliveira returns fire with a takedown and strong ground and pound to close the round. Round 2 begins with Oliveira pressing forward. Nurmagomedov shoots for a takedown, but is denied. A clinch battle ensues, with Oliveira securing a takedown and landing inside control. Nurmagomedov scrambles back to his feet, but Oliveira remains aggressive, landing punches before attempting another takedown. The Russian's output starts to decline, and Oliveira capitalizes by landing clean uppercuts and hooks. Heading into the final frame, Oliveira continues applying pressure. He secures a takedown and works in half guard. Nurmagomedov manages to stand, but looks visibly tired. Oliveira lands a knee to the body before sprawling on a Nurmagomedov takedown attempt. The Brazilian then threatens with a Bravo choke, but opts to land elbows instead. With time ticking away, Nurmagomedov attempts a desperate spinning back fist, but Oliveira absorbs it with ease and finishes the fight strong. A pivotal heavyweight contest features Sergey Pavlovich taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Referee Jason Smith is in charge. Pavlovich starts by pawing with his jab, attempting to keep Rozenstruik at bay. A cautious opening sees both fighters trading inside leg kicks. Midway through the first round, Pavlovich lands a counter right hand that wobbles Rozenstruik. The Surinamese fighter loses balance and gets taken down, where Pavlovich controls from half guard. The second round follows a similar pattern, with Pavlovich picking his shots before securing another takedown. His ground and pound keeps Rozenstruik stuck on his back. Entering the final round, Rozenstruik needs a finish, but struggles to let his hands go. Pavlovich lands a left hook that staggers him before dragging him to the mat. Rozenstruik gets up in the final seconds, but a last-ditch effort falls short. The co-main event features an intriguing middleweight showdown as the undefeated Nassourdine Imavov faces off against the electrifying Michael Venom Page. With contrasting styles, Magomedov's methodical, pressure-based striking against Page's flashy, unorthodox movement, this bout promises a chess match inside the cage. Jason Herzog officiates. The fight begins with a glove tap before Page immediately assumes his signature karate stance, keeping his hands low and bouncing lightly on his feet. Magomedov moves forward cautiously, gauging the distance while Page flicks out probing jabs. The Englishman lands a quick leg kick, then another, forcing Magomedov to adjust. The Russian attempts to close the distance, but Page's footwork keeps him at bay. A wheel kick from Page barely grazes Magomedov's head, drawing an appreciative murmur from the crowd. 2 minutes in, Magomedov finally finds a way inside, rushing forward with a looping right hand that Page evades with a swift head movement. Magomedov forces a clinch and presses Page against the fence, but MVP frames well and circles out. A lightning-fast 1-2 from Page stings Magomedov, who shakes it off and resets. With 30 seconds left in the round, Magomedov lands his best strike so far, a heavy body kick, but Page quickly counters with a crisp right hand, grinning as the round ends. In the second round, Page resumes his movement-based attack, feigning with his shoulders and switching stances fluidly. Magomedov, seemingly frustrated, increases his aggression and fires a spinning back kick, but it glances off Page's torso without much impact. The Russian finally gets inside and initiates another clinch, working knees to the body. This time he holds Page against the fence for over a minute, sapping some of the Englishman's energy. Page eventually breaks free and resets in the center of the cage, but Magomedov lands a solid inside leg kick, followed by a left hook. The Russian pressures forward, but Page lands a sneaky standing elbow and dances away. The crowd starts chanting MVP, MVP as he showboats slightly, stuffing a takedown attempt with a dramatic spin away from the cage. Magomedov manages to land a stiff jab in the closing seconds, but the round likely favors Page. The third and final round begins with urgency from Magomedov, who understands he might be down on the scorecards. He feints a jab and dives in for a double leg takedown, but Page sprawls effortlessly, stuffing the attempt. Magomedov finally lands a hard right hook, forcing Page to take a step back. Sensing an opportunity, the Russian charges forward, landing another right hand and clinching against the fence. This time, he secures an inside trip, bringing Page down with 3 minutes to go. From half guard, Magomedov lands short elbows, trying to wear down Page. The Englishman stays active from the bottom, keeping Magomedov from advancing. With 90 seconds left, Page manages to create space and escape to his feet, where he immediately lands a snapping front kick to Magomedov's midsection. The Russian looks visibly fatigued, unable to muster a final push. Page picks him apart in the closing seconds, landing a crisp jab and a counter right hand as the final horn sounds. As the judges' scores are read 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28, it is clear that Page's striking and takedown defense were the difference. The night culminates in a high-stakes middleweight showdown as former champion Israel Adesanya looks to rebound from back-to-back losses against rising contender Nassourdine Imavov. With Adesanya's technical precision and Imavov's aggressive, well-rounded game, this fight has all the makings of a thrilling main event. Veteran referee Mark Goddard oversees the 5-round battle. The first round begins with Adesanya adopting his signature approach, measured, patient, and tactical. He feints frequently, keeping Imavov guessing. The Frenchman, however, is not shy about pressing forward, throwing a heavy leg kick that lands with a thud. Adesanya responds with a snapping jab, followed by a crisp inside leg kick of his own. The crowd erupts in chants of "Let's go Izzy!" as the former champion starts finding his range. Midway through the round, Imavov attempts to close the distance, but Adesanya intercepts him with a well-timed knee to the body. Imavov absorbs it and continues forward, clinching against the fence. The Frenchman works for a takedown, but struggles to complete it as Adesanya's defense holds up. The round ends with Adesanya landing a slick 1-2 combination, marking a strong start for the former champion. In the second round, Imavov adjusts his approach, showing more patience and picking his shots. He lands a powerful overhand right that catches Adesanya off guard, sending him stumbling into the fence. Sensing an opportunity, Imavov rushes forward, unloading a flurry of punches. Adesanya desperately clinches to recover, but Imavov shrugs him off and lands a short uppercut. The crowd gasps as Adesanya drops to the canvas, and Imavov pounces, hammering away with lefts and rights. Goddard watches closely as Adesanya struggles to defend himself. The former champion attempts to roll away, but Imavov is relentless, landing another heavy right hand. The referee steps in, waving off the fight as Imavov roars in celebration. The arena is stunned. Adesanya, dazed, protests the stoppage, but the damage was evident. In a massive upset, Nassourdine Imavov has finished one of the greatest middleweights in UFC history. With this victory, Imavov catapults himself into the title picture, while Adesanya faces uncertain territory in his career. As the Frenchman soaks in his monumental win, speculation begins. What's next for both men?